some heavy hitters. I'm truly grateful today for an opportunity to share with you some things that God has laid on my heart about discovering the path to fulfilling purpose. The greatest failure in life is to succeed at the wrong assignment.
Come on now.
Dr. Miles Monroe. The greatest failure in life is to succeed at the wrong assignment. When I first heard that quote, the first thing that came to my mind was a picture. A picture of somebody standing on top of a mountain with their arms outstretched saying, "I did it!" The caption at the bottom of the picture said, "But you're on the wrong mountain." So many of us go through life wondering about our purpose. Why am I here? Why did you make me? Why am I the age that I am, the race that I am, the sex that I am? Why was I born in this part of the country instead of another part of the world? Why am I here? And being able to answer that question is critical to us living the type of life that God intended. He made us for a reason. That was a divine design for us. There's one for you individually. We're going to talk about discovering our path to our purpose. And even that phrase, it tells us that you're going somewhere. You're not stagnant, you're not staying still, but you're moving, you're on a journey. You have a path to follow. So how do you discover your purpose? How do you determine where it is that God has for you? Am I headed in the right direction? God, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Well, I have a couple of simple things that will help you in the process of discovering your path to your purpose. But the first thing that you have to do, even right before you even start, you have to become dissatisfied with where you are. You have to say to yourself, there has to be more. There has to be more to life. There has to be more to me. I have more to offer. A lot of people find themselves doing stuff that they were trained to do. You hear that earlier. But they're not doing stuff that they were ordained to do. And there's a difference. Yes. Because you can train almost anybody to do almost anything. Yes. But do they have that sense of fulfillment and purpose in it? You know, one of the ways that you know that you're doing what God has called and given you to do is that there's a sense of fulfillment unlike anything else. Think of one thing that you do, that you don't even look at your watch, that you don't even check the clock, that you look up and it's 5 hours later. You find yourself just kind of lost in it. You are a fish in water. That is a good indication that that's the thing that God has for you to do. Now see, oftentimes we'll say, well, how can I build my personal economy around me? And there is a process that you can go through in order to make that happen. And I have some resources to help in that area. But like I said, first you have to be dissatisfied with where you are before you're willing to look for something new. Look in a different direction. Look for your true purpose. So being dissatisfied. How many people by show of hands hate Mondays? Mondays. How many people hate Mondays? How many people by show of hands? There's a general consensus, and I know a lot of y'all probably won't put hands up, but there's a general consensus is Monday again. That's right. Now, it may not be Monday. That's the problem. It may be your job. Yeah. It may be what you're doing. Yeah. Right. Monday is not the problem. Maybe it's what you're doing that's caused, because there's one motivation. He said, thank God for Monday. A lot of us, we say, thank God it's Friday. But when you're doing what you're supposed to do, when you're doing that, you can say, thank God it's today. Yes. Not just Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's today. Some people, they hate Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. And that's a good indication that you're on the wrong mountain, but you have to become dissatisfied. You have to become dissatisfied before you even look to see, okay, what else is out there? Where else can I go? What else can I do that's going to give me that sense of fulfillment and purpose that I need in my life? So first thing being dissatisfied. But the second thing is identifying, and I talked about being on the wrong mountain, identifying the right one. You know, back in 2012, I had the opportunity to go to a conference, a national conference in Dallas, Texas, and they had companies from all around the country. And while I was at the conference, I received a phone call. And they said, Mr. Prince, your company has been selected to be part of our Quick Pitch Business Olympics. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in so-and-so ballroom. I said, okay, thank you. I was like, what is that? What is a Quick Pitch Business Olympics? Because I had no idea I was going to have to participate. But they called, they wanted to wait until everybody registered because they didn't want to tell people and then they didn't show up to the conference. So they selected people once they got there. And so at the conference, they called everybody and told them, you are going to be basically put on the spot tomorrow morning to talk about your business. So I go and I actually get my program and I look through it and it said you have 3 minutes. 3 minutes to pitch your business in front of a select panel of judges and the listening audience. And not only that, but after you give your pitch, they're going to give you a 3-minute critique. They're going to actually judge you on your ability to sell your business. And the grand prize was a $1,500 top of the line Dell laptop. I was like, okay, cool. So I started with my elevator pitch. And I was saying, at the time I had a company called 3D Solution Providers. And so I immediately started, this is Tony Prince with 3D Solution Providers. We provide 3D illustration and animation for our company. And our slogan is making small business look big. And I mean, I went over and over and over saying that so it would be natural. And I know that my oldest son, he thought, because he went with me on the trip, I know he thought something was wrong because I was looking in the bathroom, taking a bath, saying it over and over and over again. I mean, just repeating it over and over again. Well, the next day came, and I actually got to the room early because, of course, I'm nervous. I mean, I'm on a national stage. I take a look at the room, and I noticed that there was an ABI guy in the back, and they had a projector. Now, this was not like church, where people get up there and just talk forever and ever. They had a timer on the wall. It's pretty much, it counted down for 3 minutes, and then at the end of 3 minutes, they just cut your mic. I mean, they just turned it off because they had to keep everything moving. Well, I saw the ABI guy in the back, and I went to him and I said, hey, look, can you play animation files? Because I had my animation on my cell phone. He said, sure. He took my file, he copied it over to the computer, he pulled it up, made sure it showed up on the screen, and that the sound was there and everything. I said, cool. I said, okay, so when they call me up, I'm going to start giving my speech. But about halfway through, I'm going to ask if you were just going to play the animation. He said, okay, fine. So I wasn't the first participant, and I'm glad, because I was sitting there sweating bullets. But I wound up being number 8. And then they called me up, and I had a chance to get up there, and I had a chance to really pitch my business. I had a chance, and I was climbing that mountain. I had a chance to tell people about who I was and what I had to offer. And so I started talking, and I started sharing. And then about halfway through, I actually got the ABI guy to start playing the animation. And he did, it came up on the screen, and lo and behold, everybody was like blown away with this stuff moving, stuff coming in. It's like, wow. Well, I wound up finishing out the presentation, telling people, say, well, people ask, how can I show that on the go? I said, well, I keep that same animation on my cell phone. So I can show people exactly what I do. Well, I couldn't see what my score was because I'm standing on stage and they are sitting there. So I had no idea what my score was. But it wasn't until lunchtime when they announced the winners. And I won. I won. I was blown away. But you know what? While I was climbing that mountain, I saw the right one. See, there are 3 things that you can learn even by being on the wrong mountain. The first thing is you learn this is not it. This is not where I'm supposed to be. I can X this mountain off on this. This is not it. But the second thing that you do, even being halfway up the wrong mountain, you can see the right one. You can see where you're supposed to be. Because for me, I realized in that moment, my words could do more than sell services. I could use my words to help uplift and encourage people. I could use my words to help change people's lives. I realized while I was climbing that mountain, while I was trying to sell that business, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. There it is. That's where I'm supposed to be. But see, the third thing you can learn, even being on the wrong mountain, first thing you learn is this is not it. Second thing you learn, I can see the mountain I'm supposed to be on. But when you get to that new mountain, it's not going to take you that long to get up. You know why? Because you have mountain climbing skills. Even climbing the wrong mountain, even doing the thing that you were trained to do, you take those skills with you. Going to the new mountain. So once you've identified the right mountain, it's not going to take you that long to get up. Because you have the skills that you've learned over the years. That time isn't wasted. You've gathered some stuff, you've gained some stuff, you've learned some stuff, even through the struggles, even through the pain, even through the hurt and heartache. And I know I don't have enough time to talk about one of my favorite biblical characters, which is Joseph in the Old Testament. Because Joseph, he went to school and he learned two things. He learned wisdom and discretion. And the reason I can say that is because when he told Pharaoh the qualifications for the person that he needed to set over the matter, he said, whoever you settle with, they need to have wisdom and discretion. And Pharaoh said, who has more wisdom and discretion than you? But Joseph learned those things, working for Potiphar, a small business, working in a prison, a corporation, and now he's running a country. So along that process, along his path, there were some things that he had to do. Now, and like I said, I know I don't have enough time. Joseph, his problem started with a dream. Okay? It's one of the things that I've learned myself is that God, He'll show you the mountaintop. He'll show you this is where you're going to go. But you have to go through the valley to get there.
Come on, that's right.
See, a lot of us, we just want to go straight to the top. But if we do, our head's going to explode. There's some things that God has to teach us along the way. And Joseph, he had to learn wisdom and discretion. So, first thing was being dissatisfied. The second thing was identifying the right mountain. But the third thing is putting a plan in place. When you're trying to find your purpose, trying to find the path to your purpose, how do I get there? It's called a calculated risk. A lot of people just want to take the risk. They don't want to do the calculations. And then there are some people, all they want to do is calculate, but they never want to take the risk.
Yes, come on now.
You need both of them.
Yeah.
Because some people, they'll sit and they'll figure out, well, if I did this and if I did that, but they'll never move, they'll never take action.
Come on now.
But then there are others who all they do, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and then they wonder why they're not getting any traction because they haven't calculated. And we need to learn how to have that sort of balance. Because it's needed in order for you to find out the purpose that God has for you. When you identify the thing that God has put in your heart to do, He did it for a reason. Just like Joseph. Joseph's dream was not just to save his family, although they did, but he saved the world. Because there was no other food, there was nowhere else, there was no food anywhere else but Egypt. But not only did he save the world, in the process, he actually helped Egypt's treasury. I don't care how much ivory you got, how many Jews you got, how much gold you have. If you have a sandwich, if you have a piece of chicken, if you have something to eat, I don't care. That don't mean nothing. But with them having the grain, he was able to actually also be a benefit and a blessing to others. And one thing I've learned about God is God doesn't just do stuff just for you.
That's right.
Because see, your purpose, somebody else is waiting on that.
Yes, yes.
Somebody else is waiting for you to write that book. Right. They're waiting for you to open that restaurant. They're waiting for you to start that company. Somebody's waiting on you. They won't even hear me. Mm-hmm. Somebody's waiting to hear your voice, to hear your story, to hear what you get, to hear your struggle, in order to help them get over it. When I walk in the room, they're not going. No, I don't want it. But they'll hear you. And that's why I encourage people to know, find your purpose. Someone asked me, actually I did a radio interview just last week, and they said, what motivates you? What keeps you going? And before I knew it, I said, the person that haven't heard me. I have no idea who they are. I have no idea where they are. I don't know how old they are. I don't know what age or sex they are or what race they are. But I just know that I have a purpose in sharing what God has put in my heart to do. And encouraging people that they can do the same. Because it's not about me, it's about what God has put in you. And so when you discover your purpose, can you imagine being a part of a team where everybody is at their A game? They call it the dream team in basketball. When you get the best of the best of the best and put them all together, you can't stop a team like that.
That's right.
But that means that everybody on the team knows what they have and knows what they bring to the table.
Come on now.
They know their purpose. They know what their strengths are. And then this is the thing, they don't look at the other teammates as competition.
That's right. Yes. Come on now.
They collaborate with them. And that's what we need to do. If somebody can do something that you can't, good. Great. I need you. Because you do something I can't. But guess what? I can do something you can't.
Yeah.
So we can't dismiss anybody. The last thing I want to share is this, and I know my time is all up, is a leap of faith. And that has to be. You have to take a leap of faith. After you've done all the calculations, after you've identified the right amount, after you know where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing, you have to take a leap of faith. Knowing that God created you for a purpose, that there's a reason for you being here, that no one else can do what you do, it's imperative that you step out, that you go. So many times in the Bible, God tells people to go in, they didn't even know where they were headed, but they went anyway.
Yeah.
Jesus told the lepers, go and show yourself. They weren't even close to being here at that time.
Yeah.
But as they went,
Went. Come on.
and see, that's the problem. That's the problem. A lot of us, we don't want to go.
That's it.
Well, what happens? Like, what if I fall? What if I fail? And believe it or not, failure is a part of the process.
That's right. That's right.
It's a part of the process. You really don't fail, you just learn. Either you win or you learn.
Come on now.
And you get back up and you get back at it. As long as you still have breath in your body, as long as the blood is running warm in your veins, there's another opportunity. God is not through with you. You still have a purpose and a plan that God has for you. I want to give a quick illustration as well. I had the opportunity, in fact, to write a book, and the book is entitled Are You Climbing the Wrong Mountain? And a lot of the principal stuff that I talk about actually comes directly from this book. Now, I have a question. How many people, who would like this book? Okay. Okay, now, okay, all right. I'm going to say that again. Who would like this book? Okay, now, the way this happened, he took action. He took action. And that same comes up telling you about, somebody did the same thing but with the cake. And I mean, that pound cake was the bomb. I'm serious. I didn't get it though. I didn't get it, but I actually bought one. But he had it and said, who wants this pound cake? And just like a whole lot of dudes. No. And then he said, no. I mean, who wants this pound cake? And once they realized what was happening, a lot of people start moving. And even in our own life, we have to be willing to take action.
That's right.
You have to be willing to actually step out. Now, he has something because he took action. So what about you? What about in your life, in your purpose? Are you going to make that move? Are you going to step out? Are you going to take action? And don't worry about the consequences. The consequences, you need to lead them up to God. Especially, in fact, when we have said to ourselves, and in fact, we know for a fact, okay, Lord, this is what you call it and given me to do. I'm going to take action. And see, the thing is, if you never move, you're always in the same place. But if you're willing to take action, your life will be different. And again, we're on a path. You're walking. You're going. You're going somewhere. There's a place for you to go. And I encourage each and every one of you to take the time and find out why God put you. why he made you. Because there's somebody waiting on you. You are the aspirin to somebody's headache. You are the solution to somebody's problem. If God didn't need you, he wouldn't have made you. But he needed you because somebody is waiting to hear